The Boy in the Box, a parable for children and adults, by Yakira Shimoni Fulks. For my children, Asaf and Talia. When at times life feels harsh and a bit scary, and it's so hard to laugh, to sing, and be merry, when deep down inside you feel ever so lonely, and you say to yourself, "Oh, I wish, oh, if only." What if your wish became suddenly true, and you could step out with your hat and your shoes? Would you stay in your box and play the blame game, or kindle your spirit with a bright, glowing flame? Graymore, Illinois, April 10th, 1998. The Boy in the Box. He sat in the box, quiet and still. The shadows and darkness were turning him ill. Just then from a crack in the wall came a noise, and a bee full of honey buzzed with grace and with poise. "Come out of the box," she sang with delight. "Let's play in the sunshine and laugh in the light. We can dance, we can tumble, we can sing loud and bright, all through the day and all through the night." Oh, her eyes twinkled brightly, bringing smiles to his heart, as she hummed and she played with a plump and with art. Still he sat in the darkness, quiet and still, watching and wanting, but finding no will. So she stayed and she played, and she swung low and high, drawing circles of fire that he traced with his eyes. He smiled delighted and sat back asking more, so she buzzed and she beamed in colors galore. "Come, bee," she called, "let us fly up, up high. Let us leave this dark box and swim in the sky. We can roam over mountains, come give it a try. Over fields red and purple, we can spin light and spry. In the magic and the wonder, all your tears will be dry, while in gorgeous green gardens we will glide by and by." He nodded and he giggled at the maddening sight, and agreed while insane, she's actually right. And so, with much thought to the vision she brought, he finally knew that by golly, by gosh, he must and he ought. So he thanked her and he praised her for such a fine, lovely deal, and he promised with words all their visions to seal. Then the last thing he murmured in soft, sleepy shrills, "But it won't be till morning, I will do it, I will." Drifting into dreams of perky plump plums, he curled in the corner, sucking his thumb. Thus in his dreams he tumbled about, through blossoming buds he brisked in and out. There on his travels he sung silly songs, and promised to love and to right all the wrongs. When morning came and light pushed through the door, he cuddled in a bundle on the cold, creaky floor. He stretched up his arms and he rubbed clean his eyes. Then all at once he curled a cry. "What is the matter?" the bee called alarmed. "Let us get going. Today is a charm. Out of this box we will skip to our dreams. Let's waste not a moment. Let's be one as team." He stood firm and frightful on the floor by the wall, not making a sound, not moving at all. While she buzzed by and by, preparing to leave, he bickered, sulking and brooding, watching her pensive with peeve. So she poised on his shoulder, painting pictures so funny. She whispered, she conjured, she enticed him with honey. "Open the door so we can begin to surge into heights out there and within. But the boy clenched his fist and declined her fine list. All your dreams, all your thoughts are so very silly. There is no world out there. There is nothing, really. The world we saw is as real as gold, but you must move and break the mold. No one can do it or live life for you. She pleaded and begged while in circles she flew. We had agreements, we had a deal. I buzzed and honored the way you feel. You had a chance to sing out loud, but in the end, out you bowed. He looked at her blankly, no emotion in voice, while her eyes began turning ever so moist. Remember our dreams and our thoughts as before. Come, little boy, now let us open the door. But the boy did not budge, not even for promises of ice cream and fudge. Solemn and stout, he looked up and berated all her stories and songs, and he said, I just hate it. So finally she said, with a tad of disdain, to stay inside will be insane. If so you wish, he coyly answered, but you will leave the way you entered. If you will not stay with me and cry, I will not help you. His smile was wry. One last try she gave to soar. Then she shouted, unlock the door. I wish to love you and to adore, but all you are is one big bore. He stood quiet, thinking, scheming, while she again took to her dreaming. Then all at once he stretched out his arm, but she did not yet imagine harm. In his dismay and seething rage, with hope she'd stay in his cold cage, in the dark he took off his shoe, his face dejected, red and blue. He slammed his shoe upon her flesh, and all her honey flew agash. In pain she licked her sore incisions, and then at once she made decisions. He reached to catch her in his hand, but on his tummy he fell to land. With speed and style and flying skills, she saved her spirit and zany zeal. With her honey now pouring out, she saw his face a grinning pout. The boy's mean, the bee observed. Now he will get what he deserves. With songs of sunshine now turned trite, and dreams crushed by fear and spite, spinning spirals, weeping why, she took a quick and one last try. She slowed into a quiet crawl, then at once she sprung up tall. She flew again with a plump and with art, and stung the boy right in his heart. And while the boy kept crying foul, the bee began to leave the brow. She squeezed her body out to free, and off she soared above the trees. In his cold, creepy box he sobbed and he bawled, and he swished and he threshed, and he kicked and he called. He wished he had kept his promise, it seems, or he wished he had dared her dizzy daydreams. She flew out to bright, broad daylight, still tasting the bitter of her own bite, yet all along feeling endless sorrow for a loss today and many morrows. In the rise and fall of blue moons and ocean tides, above the clouds the wind she rides, and as she sings her lovely songs, she pines inside her heart and longs. Buzzing a blessing of love and of care, she wishes that one day he will dare to dare. In his box, so quiet and still, he sat in the shadows with shiver and chill. Just then from a crack in the wall came a noise, and a bee full with honey came bearing new toys. So the questions remain, will he stay? Will he go? Will he promise and keep, or his words melt as snow? Will he choose to expand his horizons beyond the dark little box he now calls Le Monde? And the same goes to you and to me and to all. Will we leave our lives lonely and small? Will we step out to see the big universe with a song in our hearts or the same old sad verse? Now look in your box at the thoughts in your head and all of the things that are making you sad. What's holding you back from the best you can be? Can you hear your own spirit cry to be free? Life is a sum of all the pledges we vow, to stay in our boxes or new paths to plow, to take or to give with greed or with poise, to fight or to love, that's the greatest of joys. So come out of the box, come, step with great might, with vigor and trust and a cheerful delight, with inner resolve and with zest in your heart. If you try, you will soar to the greatest of heights.